Coaches, remember when you were a kid and your mom told you to go play outside? Maybe she was talking about outside zone. Just welcome back to the 92 Mesh Group Cut Up Series. This is Coach Coltharp again from North Carolina, and today I thought we would look at some outside zone cut ups. I know Coach Mackey and a couple of the coaches are doing an outside zone clinic, which I think is a great idea. I spoke a little bit yesterday about how in our new position. My new head coach is more of an outside zone guy than I am, and so I've been looking at a lot of little cut-ups to see how other people, kind of integrate it into the offense. And so I thought I would look at three cut-ups today, three different ways to run it, and one out of 10 personnel, other out of 20 personnel. And, without further ado, let's jump into it and see what we have. So the first one we're going to look at is Oklahoma. I'm a big Oklahoma fan, and here they are running it out of 3x1. Let me see if I can get the screen bigger for you here, and against Georgia. And let me pause this real quick just to remind you, I am in contact with Noah Riley. So if you're around next week, we'll be putting up the first episode of Coffee with Coach. We'll be talking to Noah about his book breaking down the 2018 Oklahoma offense. So stay tuned for that. But let's jump into it. So here you see Oklahoma. They have a tight end. They're in early with an attached tight end. And they're just going to run, the outside zone to the weak side on that, and that's the thing. I talk about this in the total air raid system, and if you haven't gotten the total air raid system yet, you might want to look at that. There's a big discount coming starting tomorrow for the 4th of July week. We'll post that down in the description. Check that out. But we talk about box counting and running, and here you see, just looking at the box, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, and then the sixth guy is kind of an overhang to the trip. So this is the way Oklahoma, is going to control the box count by formation, and we talk about that a little bit in the total air raid system. You either have to control it by adding another blocker to the front side, or you can control it with the passing game or formation. And so this is the way that Coach Riley and the guys at Oklahoma kind of give that. They add the tight end down, which is going to give them the sixth man, but then they give them a twins look outside the tight end with early, and that makes everybody bump. And so now watch them work back to the other side of the formation. And that's the cool thing about wide. Look at the flat track here by the center. The center is going to go flat because he's looking for the three-man work game here. Generally if we were running tight zone, these two guys would work to this guy and he would be base, but now because it's wide zone, he's going to work to the three technique to try to make sure there's an overtake. And then once again, look at the center doing a really good job here. He takes a couple of steps, he realizes the guy's going to flow, and then he turns. He doesn't chase, which is a great way to run the zone. And all you got to do is get a little hand on there and let backs be backs. And that's a great job by that kid there. So watching Oklahoma do that. Let's jump into another clip real quick. This one is Wake Forest and Syracuse, and you'll see what we're talking about as we get down into the end zone here. Now they're in 20 personnel, and this is kind of, they're in the what we would call hero stack right there, and down in the goal line. And they're actually gonna kind of run outside zone with the fullback lead on that, or an H-back lead, and so you'll see, we'll run it back one more time from the wide side. You'll see what we're talking about here. Let me run it back. Just kind of getting over there and seeing the feel, and it really doesn't have to hit anybody because of where they are. You look at it from the tight copy, you'll see the same thing by the center. And watch the center here. He does such a good job of, okay, there's nobody there, but there's nobody to climb to. So what does he do? He stops. He kind of slows down in the gap, and look what he does. He seals it by doing that, and then he comes off late. Just a great execution there by the team. So let's let's get out of that and let's go to the last clip. And the last clip is Oklahoma versus Baylor, and this one is a 20 personnel if it's the right one I'm thinking of here. You'll see right here, Oklahoma is in the 20 personnel look, and we saw the the lead version out of 20 personnel. Now watch what happens. You're gonna get outside zone with split flow, and that's a really good thing, especially if you're more of a split flow inside zone person, but you can run outside zone with split flow as well. And here you'll see them running it like that. Once again, it's a really good job. It's nice when you have a center, a D1 center like that who can play side reach a nose, and you see the guard here kind of putting his hand out, and it's a little tighter than what it is, but you can tell by the track that it's intended to be outside zone. So there, like I said, there's a couple of little outside zone clips for you. If you haven't had a chance to sign up for Coach Mackey's deal, I'm sure there's a couple of spots left. If there isn't, I'm sure he'll repost it. And just remember, we're a community, guys, and it's really, really important. Those guys have been really good and gracious to me, helping me get into the community. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers on the channel now in less than 2 months, and I owe that to guys like Coach Mack over at Play Fast and Coach Mackey and those guys who have been really gracious in not only their advice but also their their willingness to retweet and attach and put things into the subscription. So, just remember, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's nothing in football that's original. You should be trying to learn from as many people as you can. I'm always going to be to the point where I tell you that I know nothing if it hadn't have been for guys like Joe Salas and Shane Dular and Coach Mummy and Matt Mummy and all these guys. And as far as YouTube is concerned, I owe a lot of what I'm doing to guys like Coach Mackey who has been real gracious with his his advice and examples and helping me out. And so, like I said, if you get an opportunity, go over and check out his online clinic on the outside zone. And if you haven't had a chance to go to the website, check it out, 92meshgroup.com. It's your home for the air raid on the internet. We got a lot of good things coming up. Really excited about Coffee with Coach next week. Supposedly, I have to push it back because of some personal issues, but hopefully I'll have Brad Crawford from 24/7 Sports on pretty soon. Brad and I go way, way back from when he used to cover high school ball here in the area, but now he's one of the major SEC contributors for 24/7 Sports, and him and I are going to come on and chit chat a little bit about how the air raid has changed the SEC and football in general. So I'm really looking forward to that. Brad's been on Paul Feinbaum and a bunch of other stuff, and I think you guys will really enjoy him and some of the articles that he writes. And he's just a genuine football guy, and he loves coaches and he loves football. So if you don't get a chance, check him out over at 247sports.com. Brad is an up and comer, man, and the thing I love about him is he's a grinder, man. He works hard, and he even from the very beginning he had a vision of what he wanted to become, and he's worked hard to get that. So anyway, like I said, I appreciate you guys. If you haven't checked out the Total Air Raid system, check it out in the description below. We got a little deal coming for July the 4th. Really looking forward to that, and once again, spin it to win.